guys, welcome to today's Big Brother Over the Top updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Lillian Lemon, or is it Lyman? Either way, awesome name. So thank you so much for watching and for your support, and if you guys want to be house guest of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so last night was a big night. It was eviction night. We had Neely, Danielle, and Shane up on the block. If you missed it, there were 4 votes for Danielle, including America's vote, 4 votes for Shane, so Scott broke the tie and evicted Shane. And I'm gonna say, Shane's exit was really gross. It was like, sorry, I didn't like it. But anyway, after that, Chrissy was a freaking crying mess. She needs to get a grip. She's crying in the Tokyo room. Scott walks in, he's like, Chrissy, are you okay? Do you want a hug? He was being genuine, and she was like, no. You don't have to pretend to like me, Scott. Like, you don't have to ask me for a hug or whatever. Like, I don't want it. I don't want it right now. So then Chrissy is saying that he just took out a real person personally for personal reasons. And Scott's like, it's just a game. Don't take it personally. Like, I hope when I get out of this house, I'm still going to be playing video games with Shane and Monty. He wants to play Call of Duty. He wants to play Halo. All that shit. So, I'm sorry, but it was hilarious when he was going on about the video games, and he said that multiple times in the past 24 hours. It's great. So then Chrissy's like, you need to know that we gave you that tied vote. So I thought that squeaker was broken. We gave you that tied vote so that you could go ahead and check that off your Big Brother bucket list. So, like, just know that. Know that. And she was saying, that was a real person, he was my friend, and you didn't even give him a chance to fight because he, you know, backdoored Shane. I'm sorry, but, like, Scott, I'm not a huge Scott fan, but I'm just saying, like, Scott lost 2 of his friends the first 2 weeks. I didn't see him acting like this. I mean, really, it's like they can dish it out, but they can't take it. So anyway, a little while later, Chrissy rubs Scott's pillow all up in her armpits. Great. Alright, so a little while later, the doorbell rings. It's Paul and Pablo from Big Brother 18. Friendship. Okay, yeah, so he was doing his whole thing, you know, he's walking around the house, yelling out all of his phrases, fool, pissed, bone, you know, like boning, friendship a million times. And the one thing he couldn't say, well, I mean, there's a lot of things he couldn't say, but everybody wanted to know who won last season, and he couldn't say, but later on after he left, they were like, I think Paul lost, or he wouldn't be here doing this. Yeah, okay, so then the funniest part was when Shelby kept asking people, like, who is that? Like, who's this guy? She, again, had no idea who he is. So, also, Neely kept trying to flirt with him. She was like, oh, you staying overnight, Daddy? What's going on, Daddy? Ah! Okay, so then it was time for the HOH competition. It's the perfect shot. So this is kind of, well, it's definitely playing off of last season's perfect shot competition where they had that long, windy board and you had to roll the ball down that and get it into the little basket. So this time, it's not like everybody had their own. There was only one. So Big Brother was throwing these plastic balls into the backyard, and the house guests had to find which ones had tokens. So for every token you turn in, you got to take a shot on the board. You could do a maximum of 10 shots at a time. You could go up and be like, I got 1 token. Most people were saving up at least 5 tokens at a time, and whoever gets the ball in the basket first wins. So they had a time limit of an hour. I'm not really sure what was going to happen after the hour. I wasn't really listening. Just kidding, I was, but, you know. So, anyway, there were a lot of ball jokes from Paul, of course, and Alex was wearing beer goggles because that was her punishment from the POV competition a few weeks back. So she was all like, yeah, so this competition went on for, like 30-something minutes, like 35 or, I don't know, 30 plus minutes. Chrissy ended up winning the HOH. So then, the late night jamboree was in celebration mode. They're like, oh my god, jumping around. And then it was time for Paul to go, but not before he made a little ball angel in the ball pit. You know, like snow angel. Yeah. Alright, so they go back in the house. Neely is dancing around. She's twerking all over the place, yelling, celebrating. She's like, who's that bitch? Who's that bitch? Who's that bitch? What? But it was, like, interesting because just a few days ago, we had that whole anti-celebration rant from her when she said that Shelby and Scott were, like, shimmying in the bathroom. So, hypocrite much? Also, Jason was twerking in Neely's wig, which was hilarious. I'm sorry, that wig looked like 2 wigs stacked on top of each other. Come on. Alright, also, the celebration didn't end there. Chrissy was feeling so excited, she purposely sat on Morgan's bed to fart. That is disgusting. Okay, she's gonna get her own fart bed up in that HOH. I wouldn't want to be HOH after her, I'm just saying. Okay, so then, Chrissy, you know, she gets down to business. She says that she's gonna be putting up Morgan and Whitney this week, and she's hoping that America will put up Scott. And then somebody will use the power of veto and she'll put up her real target, who's Alex. Okay, so the Ball Smashers know that they're effed this week. It's kind of a problem for them. Alex is like, there's still the veto. You know, America could still help us out. So they're begging America. They're like, please send us the care package. Put up somebody from the other side. Please help us out. And it's interesting. If at the end of the week, it's like 2 Ball Smashers and 1 late night jamboreer up on the block, America could help vote out the late night jamboree person. So America does have a lot of influence this week, again. Alright, so then the girls were alone in the kitchen, and Alex is like, guys, I'm kind of worried that Scott's going to throw us under the bus because he's all over the place. You know, he's trying to make deals with everybody. And she heard him say earlier in the kitchen, it's every man for himself now. What? Alright, which is, you know, it's crazy that Alex is throwing him under the bus like this because he's supposed to be like her #1, but I guess not. So then Alex, Morgan, and Shelby were trying to come up with a plan a little while later, and they're like, we like Scott. We like Scott. But at this point, it's kind of him or us. And obviously, they're going to choose themselves. So they're going to have to throw him under the bus. Unless America helps them out, then maybe they could do something else. But they're really feeling like, you know what, Scott may turn on us eventually anyway. So it's kind of like a preemptive strike. Maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. Also, that whole alliance between Alex, Jason, Justin, and Scott, seems like that thing went out the window the second that Chrissy won HOH. I mean, you got Justin and Jason like jumping around and celebrating with Chrissy, talking about taking out either Scott or Alex this week, so I think that's done. Alright, so then Chrissy got her HOH room last night. She got a letter from her boyfriend, and he told her that her album's going to be out by Halloween. She was hoping to get it in her HOH basket, but if you guys remember on Frankie's season, he wanted Ariana's CD, but he couldn't get it because it has to be out before the season starts. You can't get music that came out after the season started. Alright, but anyway, her CD was Bad Religion, and she got a special gift from her boyfriend. He made a bracelet out of her hair and his hair, like woven together. So he freaking sat there and picked the hair out of the hairbrush and made this bracelet. Like, in a way, it's kind of romantic, but it's also like, ugh, ugh. Alright, but, you know, good job, Chrissy's boyfriend, for, you know, it's kind of romantic in a weird way, but like, ugh. Alright, so let me know in the comments how you guys feel about hair bracelets. So then, there was more game chat in the HOH room last night with the late night jamboree. It's more of what we've heard. Chrissy hasn't really changed her plan up yet. Alex is her target, and Chrissy says that she's going to be handling this HOH like an adult. Alright, keep farting in other people's beds. We'll see. Check back in later. So this morning, I have to say though, Chrissy did kind of like tone it down after the initial celebration, and she kept saying how she was like not going to throw it in people's faces, and she didn't want America to like think that they're hypocrites. And during that whole thing, Neely was just sitting there like, because you know she's going to freaking go crazy. Alright, so this morning, Scott began his campaign. I don't know if he's trying to stay or go with this shit. So he went up to the HOH room to talk to Chrissy, and Jason and Neely were in there at the time. He was like, you guys can stay, it's all good. I want to make some points here. So he's like, point number 1. I backdoored Shane last week. So if you want to really get that full retaliation, you should keep me off of the block as an initial nom and backdoor me. Alright. Number 2. He says he was one of the first have-nots, so America must not really like him. So there's a good chance that America could potentially nominate him anyway, so don't put him up. And then he said, Chrissy, I know you got a bad knee. I don't see you as a competition threat, so you are not one of my targets. Weird way of going about saying that. And then last but not least, he said, it's really not going to benefit you to get rid of all the unlikable people because this season is different. America's voting for the winner. So you're not going to have as good of a chance to win if you're at the end with your friends who are all like the likable people. So you want to keep some stinkers around to go to the end with. So then Neely's like, okay, that's great and all, but do you have any tea to spill in your alliance? And he's like, no, I'm not about that. So Scott leaves, and the three of them, Chrissy, Neely, and Jason, are all just like, what the frig was that? They were not impressed with Scott's campaign, and they were really looking for names, and he didn't have any for them. So then, a little while later, Jason is telling Alex all about Scott's crappy plea to Chrissy, and Alex is like, wow, what the hell was that? So Alex is telling Jason, I'm not the mastermind that they're all making me out to be. Like, Scott's the one coming up with all the plans. And Jason's like, honestly, that late night jamboree, they're all waiting for you guys to start throwing each other under the bus. So he lets Alex know, I would rather see you stay over Scott this week. So then Justin joins them, and they're both telling her, your best bet is really to push for Scott to go up. Like, it's gonna be one of you two. So your only option here is really to campaign for him to go up. So go talk to Chrissy. We'll try and work on it for you as well. Interesting. I don't know. I actually think that Jason does want to keep Alex over Scott this week because he was talking to his alliance a little while later and he was saying like, oh yeah, we should keep Alex. Scott's the mastermind. I don't know if he actually believes that, but it does seem like he wants to keep Alex at this point. Alright, so then this afternoon, Big Brother gave the house guests some purple clothes to wear for Spirit Day. Yay! Alright, and then a little while later, Scott is in the backyard by himself. He keeps going back and forth on that slack line because he thinks that it's going to be like future competition or something. I think it's also just something to do. But he took a real nasty spill. It was really sad. His sandal like flipped off and everything. Like, it was really sad. But anyway, he was also talking to the feedsters and he said he will not let Alex go home ever. And that means even if he has to go home, she's not going home. So he's like, Alex has a better shot at winning this game than I do, so I would fall on my sword for her. And $4,000, that's so much money, blah, blah, blah. Like, I should give Alex a chance to win this. What? What are you talking about? That is crazy to me, especially since Scott is supposedly such a huge super fan. What the frig are you doing, man? Get it together. Alright, so then Julie is questioning the house guests later. Not like, where were you on Thursday? Blah, blah. Like, you know, she's going to ask her flowery questions, whatever. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. And let me know in the comments what you guys think of all this. Who do you think Chrissy's going to put up? Do you think she's going to stick with her plan? And until tomorrow, much love. Edit.